Elon Musk is getting his own police force, kind of. I don't know if you know this, but SpaceX has its own company town in Texas. It's all based around this facility that SpaceX has spent the last 10 years building out. And last year, they voted to incorporate an entire city called Starbase. And one of the interesting things about Starbase is that it's actually located kind of away from everything else around there. It's only about 10 miles away from the nearest city, but that's about a 30 to 45 or worse minute drive to get to a lot of the local resources. Naturally, that has meant that the company has started to build up some of their own. Last year, we reported on how some employees who live in the city of Starbase decided to start up their own volunteer fire department, and that Starbase City decided to start taking on some of its own tasks related to that, like building permits and fire code inspections. But when it comes to law enforcement, at the time, Starbase City officials decided to just contract with the Cameron County Sheriff's Office, and the idea was they were going to sign this $3.5 million 5-year deal to have basically 2 sheriff's deputies on patrol at Starbase at all times, with a cast of like 8 sheriff's deputies rotating through that. The sheriff's office was having some trouble getting people to want to be assigned to this detail, in large part because Starbase wasn't guaranteeing civil service protections. And so Starbase has just decided to take things into their own hands. Last week, at a special meeting of the city commission in Starbase, they voted to approve a city ordinance that will basically create the police department. It's not going to happen right away. It's supposed to happen over the next couple months. Starbase is working with a consultancy to establish it. They need to get approval from a state agency. And there are a lot more questions that we need answers to understand how this is going to work. But the big picture here is Starbase is growing fast. Elon Musk has very big plans for this facility. And there's about 500 plus employees that already live in Starbase City, with plans to basically double that over the next year. And whether or not Elon Musk's plans are achievable for SpaceX, this city is going to grow and it's going to continue to gather its own resources. And that raises some really serious questions about how those different departments and resources are going to be run within the city of Starbase when you consider how the incentives might align with what SpaceX prefers versus what the citizens and the city actually need. And there are already some troubling signs. Starbase has already put up gates which they say are for security, but have blocked access to what is ostensibly a public city. There have also been some questions about how the city has been responding to public records requests. They've actually sued Ken Paxton, the attorney general in Texas, to block the release of some records to journalists who have been covering Starbase. And let's not kid ourselves, Elon Musk's track record with engaging with the public and transparency is not great. So I've been obsessed with company towns for a long time. I'm especially obsessed with the book Fordlandia. I would recommend that if this is interesting to you whatsoever. And it feels like we're seeing maybe a new version of that coming up right here in our own country.